after living as a monk in India, after having done so many different spiritual things and practices and followed different teachers, read different ancient books, the truth is always the same. Because the truth is always that ultimately we need to make a shift from our head to our heart, from our mind that likes to create a certain identity that is based on the different external aspects in our life, what we do, who we are in a relationship with, our family, our country, and the different experiences that we had in the past, our memory. For example, therefore, when someone has a breakup, sometimes they have a huge mental health crisis because that person was part of their identity. When someone loses their job, they can have a very deep crisis because that job was their identity. When we experience a deep trauma in our life and we don't process that fear, let's say we've been abused, then that person that abused us starts to form our identity unless we forgive them. So our identity is based on the memory of the past and the different people, situations and experiences that we have in the present moment. But also they are ultimately just a product of the past. Why do you fall in love with someone? Why do you hate someone else? Why are you born in a certain family? Why do you have a certain nature and inclination? It is ultimately because you have a certain karma. You've lived certain lives that created certain impressions on your consciousness, that created a certain memory. We call it samskaras, different impressions in yoga. And these impressions push you in a certain direction in this life. So when we say we live from our head, we don't just mean that we live a life that is just controlled by our thoughts, but also by our emotions. Even if you are the most rational, logical person, and you think that you're not emotional at all, chances are that you have just suppressed your emotions, you've just cut yourself off from your emotions, and you live a life from your head. You think things over and over and over again, but you don't experience the deeper state of the heart that is always peaceful, always blissful, and that never changes. Now, because we are so controlled by our emotions, by our mind, we think that we are in control of our life. We think that we make certain choices in our life. Oh, I want to be a famous musician, or I want to make a career in banking, oh, I want to get in a relationship with that person, I want to move country, I want to travel, I want to always stay here. All these different choices that we think that we are doing are actually just a creation of our ego, and our ego is just a creation of the past. Therefore, in yoga, the ego is seen as darkness, as the shadow that covers the true self, because it's just a creation of the past. The present moment is when you can start to shift from your head to your heart. Because when you fully arrive in the present moment, and you're not controlled anymore by the past, and you're also not constantly dreaming and fantasizing about a better future, which is also the energy of your head. When you fully arrive in the present moment and your mind calms down, then you will start to experience the heart. So when the mind becomes quiet, when you're not controlled so much anymore by the past, which is why in yoga so often the practices are about cleansing these samskaras, cleansing ourselves from these different memories of the past, healing them, infusing them with love so they don't control us anymore in the present. Which is why in yoga, when we visualize and when we want to manifest a better future, we don't just fantasize about it. We bring it into the present moment and we make it like we experience it right now in the present moment. Yeah? So in yoga, when we say we want to have a certain relationship Let's say you want to get into a new relationship. Well, how would you feel in that relationship? Create that in the present moment. And when you feel like that in the present moment and you offer and pray to the divine, then it will come into your life. So in yoga, when that part of us calms down, we're not controlled by the fear, shame, guilt, and anger of the past. We're not fantasizing and dreaming about a better future that will never come. When that becomes still, then what do the Yoga Sutras say? The heart starts to awaken. The Svarup, the natural self, the non-dual self starts to awaken within us. So it's not that going from the head to the heart means that I'm just going to follow whatever I feel, although that is already a higher truth than just following our mind. If I just follow my thoughts and I'm totally disconnected from my emotions, then I will live a life that is not true to myself. If I'm just controlled by my emotions, then I miss the deeper truth of the non-dual heart, of the transcendent self that's always peaceful and always blissful. But that shift from the head to the heart not only happens when the mind becomes still, but it also happens when we actually become more aware of our emotions and we start to feel higher emotions like gratitude, love, empathy, compassion, appreciation. See, so many people speak about gratitude, and that is very good and very important, but don't just write down what you're grateful for. Become grateful in the present moment. Feel that deep gratitude for life, for everything that you have received, and that is going to open the door of experiencing the deeper blissful heart. Because the journey from the head to the heart means that you're not relying anymore on that superficial happiness that comes from sensory perception, because you see something beautiful, because you eat something nice, or because you are in a relationship with someone, or because you watch a beautiful movie. No, it comes by experiencing something deeper within your heart that is not based on anything external, that is not based on anything from the past, that is not based on like, oh, it would be so nice to be somewhere on the beach now with some sunshine. No. Going to the heart means that that inner bliss starts to awaken, that Ananda. And for a yogi, when they have managed that journey from their head into their heart, that inner bliss starts to become their guidance, their compass, and their connection to the universe. This is not a bliss that you can just artificially create, that you can artificially experience. This bliss is going to be revealed according to how much you're able to go beyond the lower mind. How much you're able to go beyond these temporary identifications. How much you are actually going to be able to let go. Because the journey from the head to the heart is about letting go. It's about letting go of all the things that are not in your control, which is basically almost everything in your life, and focusing on that which is in your control, which is your consciousness. Truly, your consciousness is the only thing that you have power about. You might be the richest man or woman on the planet, and you might feel yourself extremely powerful, but ultimately, when you die, everything is going to be taken from you apart from what you experience in your deeper state of heart. So therefore, in spiritual life, we don't just want to create heaven on earth, but we also want to create heaven in our heart. And in effect, when we create that heaven in our heart, it starts to reflect, it starts to shine into the external reality, and it actually creates heaven. The more you let go, the more you will receive. And therefore, what I really would like you to start practicing after this video is to sit for just 5 minutes with yourself. Try to consciously relax your entire system. Try to meditate on this area around your heart and really try to visualize a golden light in this area. Try to remember a time you were grateful. Try to remember a time where you experienced a state of love and appreciation, and really feel how this golden light in your heart is expanding, a warm feeling. And as you practice that, you can get a glimpse of what it means to go deeper into the heart. Of course, there are other practices that you can do. For example, mantra meditation. There are so many different mantras that you can choose from. You can choose a mantra that you really resonate with, and you can then again focus on your heart. And what the mantra will do, the transcendent sound will do, is it will penetrate through the different layers of the heart until it awakens the eternal heart within. Okay, so these are some of the practices that you can do to reach in your state of heart. But the first and most important step is really understanding and realizing and becoming the observer of your life and seeing that ultimately you're just controlled by the past that makes you fantasize about the future that does not exist, just like the past does not exist, and brings you away from the present moment. And your true self and your true heart is something that you can only meet in the present moment. Radhe Shyam.